I just learned this horrible fact about Cranky. He does not like Turn the Page
by Bob Seger.
It's the single most greatest song ever.
No, it is horrible. So I became familiar with it when James Hetfield and Metallica covered it in like 98, 99. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's even when Bob Seger did it. I hate when artists, we were just listening to John Fogerty's Lodi. I hate when artists complain about having to go play gigs in bars and like, I put out all the energy for the audience and they don't listen. They just sit there with their beers. Like, shut up. Especially Bob Seger, and then even more so Metallica singing that shit. Then you go back on your multi-million-dollar tour bus. You're flying all over the world. Like, just shut your fucking mouth. So that's, yeah, I don't like that song. Welcome to the Rocks and Roots podcast, the most unprofessional podcast on the internet. How are you, Tumbles?
Oh, I guess I'm alright.
After that rant.
Hi, I'm Tumbles. I kind of like Turn the Page.
That's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Really?
Yes.
Because I thought we couldn't.
Oh, okay. We have to hate each other because we don't
agree on something.
On Turn the Page.
Yep, we're divorced. All right.
That's the end of the podcast. It's the end of the hiking career.
All over a song.
I will say the Metallica's version is better, though.
It is. I agree with that.
Okay.
All right. Anyway.
What the fuck did we do today?
Welcome. Welcome to this beautiful Saturday morning. It's about, I don't know, 20...
That was a very nice cold open, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Saturday morning.
It's a beautiful day out. It's cold, no doubt, but blue skies, not a cloud. Fresh snow on the ground. Hasn't been ruined by dog piss or trucks yet. Today, we decided to stay close to home. We wanted to get a little hike in, so after much...
Well, can I give a brief backstory and complain? I've already been complaining. I'm going to add to the complaints.
Go on.
We were supposed to do the Kleinerman 10K.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
In Central Park.
Yes.
And Monday, we went to pick up our race packets in Midtown Manhattan at the NYRR.
New York Roadrunners.
All right, because there's another company that I always mix up. And I was not pleased with how we were treated. It's show the papers. You have to show your vaccine passport, which I would have tolerated if they were nice about it. Could you please show your, present your vaccine card? No. I attempted to pick up my stuff and Tumble's stuff as you were double parked. And it was, well, I'm going to need her card too. And then he's snapping his fingers at people behind me. Like, you need to step back. And the line is over there. And you're too close. Completely power tripping. So I got my packet. And then I turned and the dude's mask was down around his mouth. I was like, dude, if you're going to make me wear this shit, can you at least pull yours up and wear it properly? He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. And then you said you got snapped at or heard people being snapped at as well when you went in.
So I didn't realize you needed your vaccine card to pick up a t-shirt. So in the past I was able to always pick up Cranky stuff for our New York City running ventures from the New York City Roadrunners headquarters without a problem, but I guess COVID will come if not everyone
yeah, Mayor de Blasio and now Mayor Adams
yes.
is continuing.
Yep. So I didn't hear any snapping, but the woman at the front was like a freaking general. I'm like, dude, relax. We're going to be in for less than 15 minutes. It's okay.
So I was not thrilled, and we were mulling this over.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you don't mind, let's go into the woods. So that is what we did. We have shirts and a race we paid for that we skipped. So we went to...
And the reason why they're so high on their horse, by the way, the Roadrunners, is because they host the New York City Marathon.
So they don't need to provide customer service. It doesn't matter how they treat people because they're okay, because they have the most popular marathon in the world. So no one could show up to any of their other races and they'd still be fine.
Yeah, I was talking to Cranky about this morning and telling him that I remember when these schmucks were a little bit more humble and had to rent out a brownstone on the east side for a packet pickup. And my father remembers Roadrunners when that shit first started and they were struggling. So, just like turn the page, remember your roots.
That was beautiful, tying everything together. So we did something local, Beacon Incline, outside of the town of Beacon. And then what's the other town that we were just in for breakfast that is also close?
Beacon is right across the river from Newburgh, New York.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
And this area, the Hudson Highlands, Breakneck Beacon, is perhaps one of the most popular, I would say next to Anthony's Nose, one of the most popular hiking spots, especially for city goers.
Yes.
City folk.
So, quick stats before
Mount
we
Beacon.
jump in.
It's not really a mountain.
No, it is. I like how they have it phrased incline, and the reason they have it phrased that way is because of the railroad, which we will discuss in a moment. So, a short one today. 4.2 miles with only a 1,388 foot elevation gain. And we were moving for 2 hours and 28 minutes, so we were fucking slow, but that's because we were looking at shit and talking in the snow, and I don't really care how fast we do this shit anymore.
Didn't realize it was a race.
It's an amazing race.
Oh, yeah.
So, history of Beacon Incline.
First off, let's quickly talk about the hike before we go into the history.
Okay,
so
because
then we can tell our
listeners
that
yes.
you can go fuck off if you don't want to listen to the history.
So the hike, this is highly recommended. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, if you're close by, if you live close by and you're just looking for a quick morning up and down, this is definitely the spot to go. The Beacon area, the Beacon Mountain area has 15 acres, but it extends way beyond that in terms of trails. It's just named different. They have different state parks, et cetera, et cetera. So,
and we
yes.
almost connected a previous hike.
Yeah, that's right.
We had done Breakneck. What railroad goes out there?
Oh, Metro North.
Metro North goes out there, and it's one of the only stops really outside the city. It's technically in New York City, but it's not on the island. So there's lots of... No? Correct me then.
I'm sorry.
No, correct me. Go ahead. It's
not
fine.
the city.
It technically is, though.
Beacon?
Not Beacon, Breakneck.
Breakneck is New York City?
Technically, yes.
Explain.
Remember we looked at the signs and we were all amazed that it technically is inside New York City limits, like New York City owns it, which is also why the railroad goes there.
Oh, okay.
Sweet, I wasn't wrong.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, trust me. So,
Okay.
we had done that, and we didn't make it to
The fire tower.
We didn't make it to the fire tower. I forget why. But today we went up the other side, and we made it to the fire tower. So I am happy that we connected that hike.
It starts off with about 150 steps, and then switchbacks for a while, and then you end at the when you end the switchbacks, you end at ruins.
Yes.
And the first ruin you come across is actually the top of the Incline Railway that took folks in the early 20th century up to the top of Beacon. And at the top of Beacon, besides the view, there was a hotel as well as a casino.
And in order to get people up there, they built a railway, but the grade is so steep, you can't just have trains under their own power. They'd never make it up. They'd never be able to brake on the way down.
It was a 34% grade.
Which at the time was the largest incline for a railroad in existence. So the railroad was powered by a cable system, which is pretty cool.
Yes, and it was built by the Ramapo Ironworks in Hilburn, which is right near where I live, which is pretty cool.
And the cable system was built by the Otis Elevator Company. So the incline, it was snowing and we haven't done this in a while, so we were huffing and puffing. But really the incline is not that bad. It's not shallow, it's not easy, but it's not that bad if you're in shape. It's about a mile. It's exactly a mile up the first incline to the ruins of the cable system. You still see the motor, you still see the big ass wheel that would bring the cable through. You continue around, amazing views of the Hudson River, and what was the bridge?
The Newburgh Bridge, just the Hudson River Valley in general.
Just fantastic views. And then about another half mile, about another mile, you come up to the fire tower at the very top, at the summit.
Yeah. And when you go up the fire tower, it was a bit breezy this morning, when you got up there. It was 14 degrees, and then wind chill, I'd say about 8 or so. But when you get to the top of the fire tower, you can see 75 miles in every direction. And if you get a clear day like we got this morning, you will be amazed.
So, I think you said you could probably see Albany.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And if the other hills weren't in the way, you could definitely see New York City.
So 8 at the fire tower. My acrophobia started kicking in, but I made it up. And we couldn't stay up there too long because there was at least a 10-degree difference between the base of the fire tower and then the top of the fire tower.
No doubt.
So, yeah, it was pretty windy. It was pretty cold.
But plenty of people.
Yes. Scarfed down some untapped coffee goo. I grossed you out with my tuna fish, my tuna packet that I just eat raw with nothing, just like a fucking...
herbs.
Yes. Like fucking cat food. My cat likes it. So, Marcia happy as down the fire tower. We probably should have put our spikes on, but we were too fucking lazy.
I fell once going up and once going down.
I had an epic wipeout where my feet went out from under me and I slid on my stomach and was spinning around.
I wish I was recording this. Oh my god. It was beautiful. It was it was like he catapulted himself. I'm like, now you're just trying to beat me in just technique on how to fall.
So when you fall, it's normal. You do it frequently, but they look normal. Mine looks like fucking cartoon, like Looney Tunes. Your second one was pretty hilarious because we were coming down and we were talking to hikers going up. Mm-hmm. And you were behind me and I was talking to them and I didn't see you fall, but they were like, all of a sudden I hear, oh my god, are you okay? Because you have this mid-conversation, you just went over.
I just slipped on an icy rock.
Yes. So I turn around like, oh, tumbles it down
and
again.
I was like, we've been doing this all day. My pride wasn't even hurt. It's just like, it happens.
So, we did see lots of people.
Yeah. There are a few runners.
Yes.
And a few not prepared hikers.
Yes.
And a few prepared hikers.
I think the question of the day, we came across a couple coming up. The question of the day, they asked us, is there a restroom at the top? Well, first they asked, if we make it up to the top and back in just sneakers, are we going to be okay?
You're like, probably not.
Yeah, it's like, probably not, dude. You're going to fall a lot, and you're going to be really cold. And it's like, you could try it. And he's like, okay. Is there a restroom up top? So my response was, only the trees. Only the trees.
And there's his girlfriend just laughing at him.
And then, we saw a runner who was very prepared, had micro spikes, he was awesome. It was a diverse group out there today, I would say. We, again, talked about this in other episodes. It doesn't matter who you meet out there, how different they are from you. You automatically have a common something that's binding you together. You have the trail is your common. My words are completely failing.
That's okay.
You all know what I fucking mean. So, yeah, we had trouble communicating with the one gentleman because it was a language barrier, but it was still a very friendly conversation, and we did our best to figure it out, and we each got our point across. And
he was happy it wasn't too windy.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
So.
You know what? It's generally, doesn't matter what time of year you go. That whole area is a very popular hiking destination for everyone.
Yes. So, mistakes. We did better with water. I did better. Tips. I normally bring my stupid bladder and it normally freezes and then I have no water. I did not do that this time. I brought bottles. Mm-hmm. So anytime it's below freezing, don't bring a bladder because that shit'll freeze on you. So we did better with that. What we should have done was we should have put our spikes on coming down at least. We made it.
I if there was any more snow on the ground, we would have needed something. If you can get away with just your shoes, you can get away with it. You probably won't have the best of times, but you will get away with it.
Both.
Because I packed my my foot chains.
We were over prepared.
Yeah, as usual.
Yes.
Especially you. I packed my crampons. And we packed the snowshoes. Did we use any of them?
No. That's okay. So that's it. It's just a quick local trail. The pictures from Instagram will be fucking amazing. And then the food is one of the highlights of these trips, no matter how short it is.
Yep.
And you found...
I found a breakfast joint in Newburgh. It's called the Black Vanilla Cafe. And it was so good. The coffee was delicious. The food was bangarang. Highly... Yeah, Southern flair, yes. Highly recommended. Great folks in there, great atmosphere inside, even just a place to hang out. They open.
Have couches, they have chess
set, yeah.
On the wall they got Biggie Smalls and Johnny Cash.
Oh, two great things that go great together.
I wasn't thrilled that John Lennon was up on the wall, but can't have everything. So yeah, I had fucking chicken and waffles, which was amazing.
I had eggs and grits, which was homemade grits. You kidding me?
Yes, and for you to be impressed by grits, they must have been wonderful.
That's right.
So yeah, highly recommend.
That you cannot make in less than 15 minutes.
My cousin Vinny.
Yes.
In case y'all didn't get the reference. Are you saying your grits cook different than everyone else's grits? Starring... Who else? Ralph Macchio, that's right. Cobra Kai, motherfuckers. So, yeah, I think that's really it about the hike. It was short, it was sweet, it was fun, highly recommended.
Yeah, we just missed talking to our fans, too.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yeah, because we've had lots of guests, and the guests have been great, and thank you, but it's been a minute since we've done this is the hike we did, this is the food we did.
Yeah, and this was actually, we're looking at this as a prep trip for what we're going to be doing next weekend. We're going up to the Adirondacks for our first winter peak. We're late to the party here, but we're going to do it.
So we are looking at doing Giant, which is, you'll hear all about this next week.
And Rocky Peak Ridge.
Those are the recommended intro. If you've not done winter peaks in the Adirondacks, which we have not done, those are the recommended intro ones. So we will let you know all about that next week.
And I believe this week we do have a guest.
Not officially yet.
Okay. So we're not promising a goddamn thing to you.
No. But we've been pretty guest heavy, so I am happy to just be talking to people.
Cool.
So, I think that's it for the hike.
Thanks to everyone who listened to our most recent episode with Dragon Sky. It was a wonderful chat.
Absolutely.
And despite what we say, we do look forward to our guests whenever they come on.
Yeah, and like I said, our past, we've had, I'm trying to count backwards, I think 4 in a row.
I think so. Easily.
And yeah, they've all been wonderful conversations. So thank you.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, if you are not interested in history shit, you can bail at this point. We covered a lot of it already, but Beacon Incline, Beacon Hill,
Mount Beacon.
I'm not calling. It's only 1,300 feet.
They call it a mountain.
That's bullshit. They should call it a fucking hill.
I wonder what constitutes, if there is an official technical definition of what constitutes a mountain.
We will discuss that next week. We'll have to do some homework. Its history goes back to the Revolutionary War. Washington put lookouts up there that set signal fires to let everyone know that the British were coming again. They're always coming. This time they were coming up the Hudson. And that was when Howe overran and took New York, and Washington had to fucking scurry his ass across into Pennsylvania.
Again.
Yes, again. And then in 1902 is when the hotel was built and the rail system was put in. And you did a really good job pinpointing, because as we were coming down, we were like, I wonder when that was done. And you're like, I bet it was at the turn of the century. And you were exactly right.
That's right.
So.
I know my runes.
And that was there. It burned in 1927.
This seems to be a theme. Every place we go, what happened?
It burned down. So that it burned down in 1927. They rebuilt it within a year, but then you're getting into 1929 and the fucking stock market crash.
And then World War II happens, and then they said, this is dull.
So, it burned again, and they fucking left it burned.
They said Mercury has been in retrograde for way too long.
And they didn't try to rebuild it. The train was still running. And then
up until the 80s.
Yep. What burned in 1968?
Hold on. Keep talking.
Okay. So I don't know. Something burned in 1968. So the train was still running until the 80s. And then they shut that down. And it was put on the National Historic Register, which doesn't mean shit. It just means that they're not going to touch it. They're not going to build on it. But it could sit there and rot, which is what it did, until vandals came and they burned the railroad.
Okay, so according to the interpretive sign, the hotel burned in 27.
Right.
The nearby dance hall managed to squeak out another 41 years until it, too, burned down. A few years later, the Incline Railway hoisted its last load of passengers. Then it, too, burned. And the thing is, you look at this thing and you're like, what a piece of junk. For us, it's really cool. But to everybody else, it's like, well, this is a rotting piece of junk.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's actually quote unquote protected by the National Register of Historic Places, which means absolutely nothing except no one will dismantle it further.
Right. But it's going to sit there and rot. Very reminiscent are New Hampshire White Mountain people. This reminded us, different mechanical system, but it reminded us of the cog railway. It's about the same incline, same purpose. Like, we want to get tourists up to the top of a fucking mountain. So there's your White Mountain connection.
That was very good.
I try. Kind of a short one today. I think that's really it. Oh, gear. I tried Sea to Summit dry bags. I cannot recommend them enough.
Mm-hmm. They're
also
cheap.
Yes, and they're very high quality. Mm-hmm. It was part of my Christmas haul. Can't recommend them enough. Other than that, gear was the same. Ultra Lone Peak 4 high tops. I will be getting new ones prior to our Adirondack hike because Ultras, we love them, but they're not built for durability. I've been rocking these things for about 2 years, and they...
Have you really?
Yes.
Wow.
They've been up Mount Marcy 3 times. They've been up the Catskills, and just through, as you're walking, you put creases in them. Those creases become holes just through normal wear. So not built for durability, but the waterproof high tops, I can't recommend them enough. And even...
I'm sorry, you use them just like a runner would use your running shoes. 6 months, and those are done.
Yes.
That's just the normal lifespan of these shoes.
Yes. But... like, they look like boots, and people expect boots to last. Mm-hmm. These do not. They're not designed to. But they still work. They still kept my feet dry as long... like, they have holes in them. And as long as I didn't put my feet in water, which I didn't today, they're still okay. But I want new ones before we summit Giant.
Cool. Yeah, I was using my Loas. Those are the ones that actually killed my feet during the Tour de Mont Blanc hike, but today they were good. Yeah,
because you're walking on snow, and it was a short distance.
It was great.
So, I think that's it.
Cool.
Yep, perfect. Perfect.
We always like to look at how much time we've wasted talking, y'all.
It's valuable quality time with our listeners.
That's right.
And yeah, we can't thank everyone enough. Ever since we interviewed IB Tat, our listenership has grown, and we really, really appreciate it.
That's right. So, speaking of that, y'all are listening, please leave us some stars.
Yeah, we've gotten some more reviews.
Yes,
much appreciated.
We appreciate you.
I will be posting stuff on Instagram. Our Instagram is...
rocks_and_roots_pod. And I've been telling the Crank to connect our TikTok videos over to Instagram so you don't have to go to multiple platforms back and forth. So Crank is going to start adding the TikTok videos to our Insta stories.
Yes, which I did with our most recent one. I've been enjoying looking at plants and edibles. Our most recent one, I did some very, very basic compass shit. So go check out our TikTok, which is... rocks_roots_podcast. I've mentioned the Patreon. Just look up our name, as well as the YouTube, which I've been uploading our episodes on. And I will try to put together a video for the YouTube from what we did today.
Cool.
All right, I think that's it.
Well, it was lovely chatting.
It was.
Yes, and we will catch up with y'all next week. So if there's nothing else, that's a ciao.